as we dance.
Hi, welcome back. My name's Tori, and today I'm going to talk to you about turning anxiety, triggers, and tension in your body into a nourishing, powerful, potent relief. Because that's what we all want, right? If you're new here and you don't know anything about me, I have had anxiety and anxiety disorder and panic attacks for most of my life. And I feel now in such this deep sense of trust in my body. And when I feel tension and anxiety and pressure coming on, which, let's be honest, I still feel those things, but I know now how to handle, how to respond, how to nourish myself when I feel those things coming on. So I'd love to share them with you. I understand how debilitating it is to feel that way and to have your entire world revolve around this feeling that you want to get rid of. You don't want to feel it because it's pausing your life. It's implicating everything in your life, and everything you're trying to create and do and be is coming from this nervous energy. And no matter what you do, you just can't get rid of it. So I'm here to tell you the ways that I have turned it from this tension restricting, life absorbing, horrible energy into this nourishing, curious fulfillment. The first thing I did was turn this trigger into my superpower. I was always really hypervigilant, hypersensitive. I was scanning a room. I was interpreting what you were doing and what it would say about me. I was scanning for safety. I was scanning for unsafety. I was scanning for danger. And all this led to this future-driven, anxiously attached woman and girl who lived her life on the edge of fight or flight response. So what I did was I took that feeling, I took that nervousness, that energy, that driven power, and I made a superpower out of it. So all of that energy that we're using to scan for danger, to help ourselves, all of that energy, I turned it inwards. So all of that super focused energy that I was putting on the external world and the external things, what my body looked like, who was looking at me, what I was doing, what someone thought of me, what I thought of myself. If I needed to do this, when did I need to do it by? All of these goals and pressures and intentions and building momentum that built the tension in my body. Can I turn that inwards? Can I pay that much attention and want to create that much safety for myself internally as much as I'm focused externally? Because a nervous energy, an anxious feeling, a tension is when we have this hypertension, this energy in us that is almost worried about something that we have to do or that is future based. So can I pause for a second and can I turn that energy and that attention inwards? Can I take the care with what I'm eating? Can I take the care with my exercise routine? Can I take the care with my relationships, with how I speak to people, with how I take care of myself? Am I rushing through things, or am I actually taking care of myself, nourishing myself? That finely attuned attention to detail that I have about something externally that I'm trying to create and do and chase, that thing that I'm a slave to, can I turn that around and actually make it a nourishing thing for myself? Can I take that fine-tuned attention inwards and actually create a superpower out of it? Because that's what it is, right? You have this attention to anxiety, and if you see the superpower in it, you care so much. That's why you're anxiously driven, is because you care, because you're looking for safety for yourself, for trust. So can you turn that inwards and build trust in yourself, build that safety in your body, and actually flip that anxious feeling into being a superpower? Next thing I did was turn my reactions into a response. So when I would feel anxious and uptight, I would often react quite abruptly. I would answer people abruptly. I would act abruptly. I would be action driven and actually act before thinking, which led me into some interesting situations where, I would have to apologize and retract. And just to save yourself from going through all of that, you can change your reactions into a response. So when we try to get rid of the anxiety and the feeling of fight or flight, we push it down, we don't want to feel it, we try to get rid of it, we numb ourselves, we distract ourselves, we pick up our phone. All the while, it's still there. We don't actually get rid of it. It's like having an ailment and you put a sticker on it rather than go into the root cause of the ailment. So all of these things are just band-aids. We're just putting a sticker on it, just putting a plaster on it. But when you actually allow yourself to feel it without pushing it into the subconscious. So imagine a volcano. A volcano builds and builds and builds and builds and builds in energy until it erupts and creates chaos. So that's what your anxiety is doing. Every time you try to ignore it and get rid of it, not pay it attention, you are pushing it down into the subconscious where you have less control over it, and eventually it's going to erupt. So a great thing to do is actually try to pause. Condition yourself to, when I feel anxiety, okay, now is the time to take a breath. Create that refractory period between your action and your response. And the more space you create, the wider the refractory period is, and the more intention and mindfulness and presence you can create in your actions, in your response, rather than coming from this frantic, built up, chaotic energy of action and reaction. The third thing I started doing was, instead of fighting my anxiety, I found relief in it. Because if you think of it this way, every time you feel anxiety, it's because you care about yourself. You care so much that your body is creating this tension to say, I'm trying to find safety right now and I don't feel safe. So by finding a relief in it and from it, you can create your own internal safety. And ways I love to create that internal safety is giving my anxiety a voice. Because all it is energy. It's built up energy in this blockage in your body because you don't want to feel it. And the blockage holds the anxiety in. So essentially, by not releasing it and allowing it to flow, we're gripping onto it. And a way I love to release my anxiety, my pent-up tension, my frustration is movement. Because we hold it in. Imagine holding it in and holding it down, pushing it into the subconscious where we don't want to feel it. It's stagnant, we're tense. Anxiety builds this tension in your body. But if we allow movement, if we allow free-flowing movement, fast movement, dance, working out, just any sort of movement in your body while the anxiety is there, it has this root of release. I'll put a practice up on the screen here that I just recorded to release tension and create that ease. It's one of the practices that I do a lot of the time when I want to release this tension in my body and create an ease through the breath and through movement. And the key here is not to try and get rid of the anxiety. And that's the hardest thing, because we don't want to feel it. It's not a nice feeling. It has this feeling of contraction, of chaos, of gripping, of doom attached to it. But that's the story we've related to it. So when we give it some space to breathe, to air, to express through movement, we create a release for it. We create some space for it to breathe. Because all our body's doing when we feel anxiety is it's tapping us on the shoulder and telling us what we need. Because the body talks in feelings. The body's language is in feelings. So whatever you're feeling, your body is telling you exactly what it needs. So when you're feeling anxious and tension and you're in fight or flight response, it's asking for a release. It's asking to be released. Instead of gripping and holding on the tension, which just keeps it locked inside, your body's telling you, I need to release this. And in doing so, and on the other side of that, is a relief, is space, is peace, is ease. And in doing so, we don't create these blockages in our system, and we have this free-flowing energy and a healthy way that we can express our tension and our anxiety that restores our soulfulness, that restores our body to this healthy, expressionate being. Let me know if these 3 ways have helped you in any way. Let me know the ways that you release anxiety and tension, or the ways that you resonate to it, the stories you have about it. And please reach out to me if you are suffering with any sort of tension or require any somatic release. I would love to help you. These practices have truly helped me overcome panic attacks and eating disorders and anxious attachment, and I would love to know your feedback and also learn from you as well. I remain to be a student and I'm always open to suggestions. So I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.
As we dance.